And first and say all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Dash, double honor to Apostle, the teacher, great Muslim, calling in this truth, and to show off to hopeful elect of Israel. And I'm going to share this on how, the men, mainly the prophets, but you also have the 1/3, which are going to be able to make it out of destruction. But mainly, the prophets of Yahweh Shema Shai, the Lord's chosen, walk a different path from the rest of the people of this world. And, our people in general are supposed to be separate from the world. But it hasn't always been like that. The majority of our people have always wanted to be like the heathen, which is why when we came out of the wilderness, you have our people that ask for a king. And let me see. This is 1 Samuel 8 and 5. 4. Then all the elders of Israel, the leaders of our people nonetheless, gathered themselves together and came to Samuel and to Ramah. And said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. And it's been a reoccurring thing. Our people have always wanted to be like the heathen. And it says right, and it says it says like the nations. Our people, they've always wanted to be like the nations. But even mainly now more so than ever, you have 2nd Esdras. Second Esdras 9 and 21. And I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept me a grape of the cluster, and a plant of a great people. And that's referring to the elect. Now, how what's that? Narrow is a path to salvation, but wide is a path to destruction. And the elect, the hopeful elect, those who believe in Yahweh Shema Shai, walk a path of what is it? Ephesians, I think it's 6. Of spiritually fighting against, fighting against this world, not giving in, not being taken by the wiles of the devil, not being a nigga, engaging in a spiritual war and spiritual conflict, fighting for the right side. Because the majority of our people side with the heathen. Like, what our people supposed to be separate, but now you have that grape of a cluster, which are supposed to be separate from the heathen. Because that includes our people. Now our people are not actually heathen; they're spiritual heathen. So the Lord is going to punish them like He's going to punish the heathen with that nuclear fire, and with no mercy. Mind that the Lord's going to open up on these niggas. Ephesians 6 and 12, 11. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, because when you had letters, you have letters in New Testament, 1 Corinthians being an example, that were sent, and it says it in the first chapters, usually in the first chapters, unto the church that is in Corinth. Unto the church, unto those that believe in Yahweh Shema Shai. You had Jakes that weren't a part of that. But you had Israelites that were the church. It was only Israelites. It wasn't actually heathen. It was all Israelites. It was Jake that came that were born among the heathen, but they were still, their bloodline goes back to Israel. Just wanted to clarify that. But there were, once again, they walked a different path from the rest of the from the niggas in the world. The path of this. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and power of His might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh. They may be able to withstand. And you know, mostly the prophets. You know, because like the prophets are the ground force of the Lord. You know, they're on the forefront of this spiritual war. Because believe it or not, you even have niggas in the world who have nothing to do with the Bible, who haven't read a Bible verse a day in their life, talk about how this is a spiritual battle. How, you know, we're battling against evil, evil. You got niggas that like these military niggas in the financial sector that talk about how there's evil in high places, how it's a spiritual battle. So it's not just bullshit. You know, this is a spiritual battle. You know, a battle for your soul. That's why when you go into this, the scriptures is, you know, scriptures really the only way for you to go against this. You know, to not be taken by the deceit of Esau, of the devil. And like what, you know, what are some of those battles? You know, different temptations, you know, being, you know, constantly being vexed, like a lot vexed with the filthy conversational lifestyle of the wicked, you know, knowing that, you know, we have to every day wake up, we have to deal with looking at evil, knowing that, you know, majority, like what, knowing that you know, we're outcasts, will be looked at as funny. There may have been things we may have been into in the world that we've had to give up. There's another scripture talk about how this life is not the end, where much glory doth abide. And one of the brothers mentioned how you see these evil, twisted niggas living lavishly, and he said, "Yeah, I'm jealous." It was a couple of months ago. He said, like, cause you know, like big ass fucking houses, their own land. They got fucking maids and butlers and shit. And he said, "Yeah, I'm jealous." But like, you know, he's right. You know, that's another thing. Knowing that in this world, evil is exalted, and that is looked at as good is it's looked at as evil, and there's something wrong with you if you objectively proclaiming righteousness, like for example, men and women, right? A man is not a woman can't be a man. Proclaiming that and get looked at as you're the bad guy. You know, knowing how things should be, and you know, having to acknowledge that you can't really do shit about it, or if you do shit about it, you know, once again, all things lawful, but all things aren't expedient. In our law, we can kill niggas. You know, you have a lazy nigga, you put him to fucking death. If you have a faggot, you put him to death. If you have an adulterer, you put him to death. If you have a whore, you put her to death. But here you have to live with that, and as time goes on, that takes a toll on you. You know, combat all types of shit. And you know, the battle we fight is, you know, it's a lot worse than the battle the niggas of the world fight. You know, the niggas fight. Cause like what, you know, they dealing with you know, bills and depression and all that shit. But you know, we have to constantly, you know, monitor ourselves. You know, do, you know, spiritual maintenance. You know, like not only tend to the carnal side, you know, with bills and all that shit, but tend to the spiritual side, which are people, you know, like once again, like pork, right? Our people, they don't give a. Once again, they don't have a spiritual bone in their body. You know, they're just focused on their flesh and what they see. We're focused on not only what we see, but also what we see in the horizon, the kingdom. You know, making it to there. You know, acknowledging that all this shit is going to go down, and you know, spiritually preparing for that. These niggas don't have a care in the world about any of that. But once again, it's a battle, it's a war. What? No, you got brothers that, you know, sisters that deal with like actual, like you know, spiritual, you know, fucking demon, like you know, sleep paralysis. That's a demon. You know, I remember one time, actually a couple fucking times, I had sleep paralysis laying on my back, No, every time I did it, I always prayed. But I remember hearing giggling like a little gremlin or some shit, and I couldn't move. You know. This is Ephesians 6:10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to withstand the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against the spiritual wickedness in high places. And what? When you go into how the niggas, they're at the top of this society, because you know they call themselves elite, but they're not elite. You know, they're just cavemen with scepters. There's nothing elite about the so-called white man. He thinks he's special because he's organized. He's organized his society in a way in which he knows all the loopholes. He knows all the ins and outs of it. And people who aren't privy to that are on the ass end of that shit. That's literally all this is. You know, like going to financial literacy. You know, using debt in a good way. You know, there's positive. You know, there's good debt and bad debt. You know, instead of investing like real estate, shit like that. You know, saving up your money, working your ass off, saving up money, not buying all this little bullshit. Like they're just stocks, investing companies that actually, long-term investing. You know, you got day trading. But the reason why I mention those things, like another thing, like skills, right? So, you work at your 9-to-5 job, have your own little business on the side, build that up until you're making enough money to quit your job instead of just quitting your job outright. You know, like little things. No, I don't say little things like that, but taking small proactive steps instead of just going to a 9-to-5 every fucking day. Like that's things that, and there's even tons of more shit than that. But once again, those are things that the so-called white man is privy to and what he's done. And the average American citizen don't know about that. That's all it is. And like that when it comes to like the whole financial literacy and when you go into the law, all this type of jargon, all it is the so-called white man order things in a way in which he knows how to, he keeps all the information for himself. He knows how to do things. That's all it is. So-called white man isn't fucking elite. You know, and things often happen spiritually first, and then things play out in the physical realm. So what if you lost, and like what? Once again, niggas in the world. And the reason why I like to mention niggas in the world is because it, like, once again, like to people in the world, they'll say, oh, y'all just full of shit. But the niggas y'all look at as y'all role models believe in similar things. You know, when it comes like shit like, it's like having the right mindset, having a more stoic and disciplined mindset, because the scriptures talks about having discipline. The word disciple goes back into discipline. Control over your members. But and you talk about what you got, your spirit and your mind has to be right. And once again, things play out spiritually before they play out physically. If you lost the spiritual war, then you lost the physical one. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, having done all to stand. And once again, going into how things play out, spiritually first. Like what? You got to prepare spiritually, then, you'll be good physically. For you wrestle not against. Well, I already read that. Having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your garments loaded about with truth, having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And the world, they walk in darkness. They walk the path of death. Even if you take the Lord out of it, which you can't really do that. But let's say hypothetically you were to. These people would lead each other to their own lifestyle on their own would lead to all of their deaths. It's like the way Americans live, bro. It's not gonna end up. This shit ain't gonna end up in no fucking Cotton Candy Land or the whole peaceful thing. These niggas are going to lead themselves to their deaths, like they're already like they've been doing. Especially with like the whole presidential thing, boy, and man, like if all these prophecies are happening, the Lord is speeding things up. It said if the times weren't sped up, no flesh should be saved. The so-called white man, and his disciples of evil, they would all destroy everything. From these little evil niggas growing up to be future ex-cons and convicts, to these fucking crazy ass mad scientists creating diseases in labs, to these fucking to these retards dumping oil and poison in the water and in the food supply. These niggas will destroy everything. All of them. Their path is a path of death. Above all, take the shield of faith wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Not giving in to the temptations and bullshit of the so-called white man. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. And like what? Perseverance, to endure. To endure what? To endure hardship. Like a what? Soldier. Once again, a spiritual battle. Not giving in. Not just saying fuck it and taking part in a dying world. Once again, these niggas walk the path of death. Their world is dying. It's happening in their very eyes. You got these niggas on YouTube that do these shorts about how a couple decades ago, half a century ago, college was less than a quarter of what it is now. When you go into like the whole tuition, housing was a lot less. Food was a lot less. Like I remember seeing what that Edomite say. He said like taxes on food went up like 200% or some shit like that, or the prices went up like in terms of percentage, it was double to triple fucking digits that the shit increased when it comes to the cost. And he said that wages if wages had kept up with the increase of all your prices, then the average American household should be making about $100,000 to balance the price increase of everything, but it hasn't. Once again, you people are watching your world die in front of you. But what all we see is a transition, which it really is just a transition, the changing of the guard. He that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. It's just a transition. But in order to survive that transition, there are things that you have to have set in place to weather that storm, like Donald Trump said, to make it into the new world. Second Ezra 7 and 18. Seven, 17, then I said, and lo, then answered I and said, lo, O Lord that bearest rule, thou hast ordained in thy law that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the ungodly should perish. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for wide, but they that have done wickedly shall suffer the straight things and yet shall not see the wide. Verse 20, for there be many that perish in this life because they despise the law of the Lord that is set before them. For Yahweh have given straight commandments to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways. But his law have they despised, and denied his covenants, and his statutes they have not been faithful, and they have not performed his works. And therefore, Esdras, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are the full things. And once again, this world, there's nothing. This world is nothing. Sure, you see all these, these sparkly, especially in America, you see these sparkles and all these great things, Instagram and the fantasy world. But when you actually get out in here, this world is hollow. It's dying. There's nothing here. What did Jake want? He wanted a bitch. But what comes with that? Man, all damn near all of these women. I'm not even gonna say all of them. A hell of a lot of them, especially Jake, single mothers. Jake, he want woman defiled. Man, finding a virgin is going to be virtually impossible in America. But Jake, you want a decent woman, you're not going to get that. You're going to get a dragon. Most likely. You're most likely going to get a dragon. Money, you're going to have to sell your soul if you want money. And probably your ass as well. You're going to have to work, 70, 80, 90, 100-hour weeks. To get that lavish lifestyle. But once again, what's it going to amount to when everything collapses? Because it's not as if the collapses are far off. It's going to happen soon. But once again, the chosen of the Lord walk a different path from the niggas. And it says how they're going to suffer straight things, hoping for wide. What they're going to suffer straight things with a goal in mind. Once again, being able to see afar off what this is all for. But these niggas, all they can see is what they have in front of them. And the head of our camp mentioned how the men who are prophesying in the Lord's name in truth and sincerity are special men. They're not just average men. Men that have been ordained by the king. And a lot of people, they look at God as if he's some punk, lame. They'll look at religion as lame. Well, not religion. This is our culture. But they'll look at God as lame. That's going to change, expeditiously, when, like that scripture said, we have accounted their fools, their lot. We have accounted. How are they numbered with the saints? Because this is, mind you, what we're going through now is preparation. For what? For the storm. We have accounted their lives. I think it's in the Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 4. We fools accounted his life badness and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of Yahweh, and how is his lot among the saints? Therefore we have erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. We wearied ourselves the way of wickedness and destruction, yea, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way, but as for the way of the Lord we have not known it. What hath pride profited us, or what good hath riches with our vaunting brought us? All those things are passed away like a shadow, and as a post that hasted by. As a ship that passeth over the waves of the water, which when it is gone by, the trace thereof cannot be found, neither the pathway of the Nile in the waves. Or when a bird hath flown through the air, there is no token of her way to be found, but the light air, being beaten with a stroke of her wings, and parted with a violent noise, and motion of them is passed through, and therein afterwards no sign where she went is to be found. Like as when an arrow is shot at a mark, it parteth the air, which immediately cometh together again, so that man cannot know where it went through. Even so we, in like manner, as soon as we were born, began to draw to our end, and had no sign of virtue to show, but we were consumed in our own wickedness. For the hope of the ungodly is like dust that is blown away with the wind, like a thin froth that is driven away with the storm, like as a smoke which is dispersed here and there with the tempest, and passeth away as a remembrance of a guest that tarrieth but a day. But the righteous live forevermore. Their reward also is with the Lord, and the care of them is with the Most High. They therefore shall they receive a glorious kingdom and a beautiful crown from the Lord's hand. For with his right hand shall he cover them, with his arm shall he protect them. But once again, the end of the end of these niggas is ultimate. What they're working for is going to amount to nothing. But once again, how, Lord, through Yahweh Shema Shai, we are different. And niggas in the world can tell that. We ain't the same like these other niggas. We walk a different path, the path to life. Something beyond this. But I've been repeating myself slightly. I've been trying to drive home the point. But hope is that I say all praises, glory, now to Yahweh Shema Shai, Bashim Gakdash. And another thing, the work we do isn't in vain, as you can clearly see. The things that we've been talking about are fucking happening. It's not for nothing. These niggas are working for nothing. All that money, like it says here, all of their riches, all of their pride, all of their vaunting, it's going to amount to nothing. And it says, how is he counted among the saints? When, Second Ezra will mention how, then shall they know who are my chosen. When you have the shit like Book of Eli happening, when you have certain men getting spiritual power, and ultimately when you have the elect being shot up into the chariots while everybody else is watching, there's an NFL commercial about that shit. That's not shit about that, but that's when being down with the Lord is going to be cool. Quotations, niggas think is cool. But so y'all praise this glory now. Yahweh Shema Shai, Bashim Gak. It's only a matter of time. Bashim Gakadash. So y'all praise the bonds of possibilities, great medicine, power, and the truth. Show on to hopefully like Israel instruction, battle on great America.